Creator, source of all that is, we are in position. Our position is that we stand. We stand for what we believe to be true. We stand for questioning the lies and deceptions that permeate every aspect and detail of our lives. We sort and sift, question, and discuss it all. Then we take a stand, because at the crux of it all, unless we stand for what we discern, we placate. We sit unmoved and passive, idle, or even idealize or idolize what is being done to us by our passivity. Or we vote yes for some good idea someone phrased well. A friend once said to me, "We are not here to get comfortable. When it's comfort or okayness we seek, we abet those who work tirelessly and are determined to impose their will on us their way. When we are comfortable, we are not paying attention. When we are comfortable, we compromise the subtle encroachments into our comfort space. We say no kneeling to false prophets or sitting this one out. We, spirits and body, stand at attention. We are. We are ready. We grow our souls and feed our spirits through right action on simple truths. And we do it all with awareness of vital source energy and with the love that was bestowed us by our beloved Creator. To know that love is to know who we are. Let it be so, and so it is.
Thank you, Charlie.
My pleasure.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. This is an after action report on the United States Marine Corps. I have spent several hours over the last few days, starting actually in August, I think August the 4th or something, trying to communicate with the Marine Corps on what's going on. And I get intel from Laura, who keeps her ear to the ground, and she says they're not going to respond. And they're on a mission, and who knows what's going on. And I read Real Raw News, and their representative Mike never contacts me back, although he promises in 48 hours. But in any case, I took what I had to the Marine Corps, and it seems a logical progression for what we're doing to take it to the Marine Corps. I was eating an orange. I got to stop and talk and get this done. So, this gives you an idea of what's going on with the Marine Corps. And for days now, Quantico, Pendleton, Miramar, and Washington. The only phone numbers for the Marine Corps that answers is the Inspector General of the Marine Corps, and they all function. You can get through to them. They won't cooperate or do anything, but you can get through to them. So I finally got through to, and it was a peculiar identifier, but for the orgmb.igmc.hotline at usmc.mil, there's an owner to that, somebody that's actually responsible for that major hub to send your information into the Marine Corps to get action. So that worked. The person responsible there is Cassandra Gonzalez, Cassandra Ann Gonzalez. She works with a Captain Tessa Tosco and a Captain Matthew Healy, but she's the responsible party. I've talked to her many times. I submitted a document to 8 Marines that are on active duty. Last I heard, a general in the Marine Corps, FOIA headquarters for the Marine Corps, and I submitted all of that on August the 24th, and nothing happened. And they said to me, we had no way to contact you back, which can't be true because they got the email. And everybody that knows me knows that on my email, they get a pretty picture of me and what I think and everything else. All comes with the package. They got the email. They notified that they had received it. They have it, but no way to contact me. Okay. So then I submitted my latest, what is Charlie kerfuffle, with the state of Oregon, aka all caps state of Oregon. And it is not a constitutional Republican form of government, and we're not going to take it anymore. That outfit. So, in any case, we have filed that with the U.S. Marshal Services that Salem is a color of law convicted oligarchy. So, it's not a secret. So, we found out from Real Raw News that General Eric Smith was the commanding general of the 3rd Marine Air Wing. Turns out that's not true. Turns out that is a Major General, Michael Borschels. Got his phone number, won't answer it. And if you know the code on the Marine Corps, you can deduce what their email is. Works most of the time. Middle initials throw you off sometimes. So all the information that is published on Real Raw News, none of it can be confirmed by the Marine Corps because the Marine Corps is not there. But Cassandra is. And so she doesn't get my emails. And she says, how can that be? And she calls back on the telephone. So we have a record of communication back and forth. And I send her emails and nothing goes through. She sent me an email to her personal email and I respond to it directly and it doesn't go through. Emails to the ORGMB IGMC hotline doesn't go through. Not for me. She sends me another email and I send it back and she doesn't get it. And hours go by. So I send her a fax. The fax goes to the Marine Corps Inspector General, where she is. And the person that was manning the fax machine was also on the telephone. So we'll talk about it later. So I called back in a half an hour or so. And she says, haven't got the fax. Really? I have right here from our fax machine that confirmed the 2 fax machines shook hands and that we actually do have proof of service. Can you see that? Proof of service to the Marine Corps IG department. But the head of the IG intake for the inspector general cannot get the email I send her, nor the faxes I send her. This is getting curiouser and curiouser. We're both amazed that this is not happening. What is the next thing I can do, Cassandra? She says, I can tape your deposition verbally over the phone. Hot damn. So I got about 20 minutes of living testimony into the IG department to back up all the emails that they can't receive and the 4-page fax that I have proof of service that they got. And now she took it one-on-one audio and we made the case. Everything that we have been doing for the last 5 years got boiled down to what I could come up with to substantiate this information. And it's not very much, so I'm going to read it. Hello, Cassandra. This is the 824. Then one from yesterday follows with one attachment, enemies from within. That's from mine email to her. I'll get copies of this to William so he can put it up. And this is what I sent him August the 24th. I need to liaison with the Provost Marshal of the U.S. Marine Corps on Oregon or other responsible person. The issue, the lawful conviction, de facto, color of law, incorporated subdivision of the United States of Washington, District of Columbia, Inc., the state of Oregon, aka all caps state of Oregon, are refusing to abide by governing law. This includes the Oregon National Guard Commander, Provost Marshal and JAG, the state of Oregon, aka all caps state of Oregon, the de facto executive, legislature, and judiciary. There is not one legitimate and proper oath to the proper constitutions, with God included among the bunch. I make that proper claim, and I have 3 hours on the phone with the U.S. Marine Corps today. 4 numbers at Quantico do not answer. The U.S. Marine Corps Barracks, 8th and I, downtown Washington, their phone numbers disconnected. The U.S. Marine Corps Internal Affairs seems to be pretending to work. I filed online today with the IGMC, but found the form inadequate. As in headquarters FOIA for the USMC. We have had 6 grand juries, 5 Article 3 Amendment 7 courts. Our Marshal, Robert Graves, a Marine, has met with the U.S. Marshal Services and the U.S. DOJ in Portland. Our court has served claims of cognizance on several Article 7 amended de facto courts, filed a writ of habeas corpus ad subjectium. I mispronounced that. Sorry, boss. Filed foreclosure, quiet title, and eviction on the Marco Hatfield Federal Building. They are all in Salem oligarchy and have killed and incarcerated us, and our sheriffs have no proper oaths and are operating for-profit businesses. All of this is documented, signed, sealed, stamped, witnessed with proof of service, and published at www.orsja.org and 3 cable TV channels, YouTube and Brighteon. Not one rebuttal in 5 years. Living testimony in form of affidavit of truth. I am known as one of the people, clerk of the court, of our civilian court of record, having implemented ex parte Milligan, nullified martial law, Liber Code, FEMA, with Article 1, Section 1, aka Oregon Statewide Jural Assemblies, Article 3, one Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction of Oregon, that state among the several states, in the Constitution, de jure law form of the United States of America's apostrophe S Constitution and Oregon's apostrophe S Constitution, circa 1859. Ron Vroman, the common man, private, Ronald Charles Vroman, in cursive, on my birth certificate, and as trustee of the Private Membership Association, all cap Ronald Charles Vroman, the straw man, also known as Ronald Charles Vroman, Private Attorney General by the United States Congress, 42 U.S.C. 1988 and 18 U.S.C. 1510 and 18 U.S.C. 1512, and to be known as one of the people, also qualified investigator and federal witness, and by living testimony without rebuttal, status identified and without rebuttal in the City of Beaverton Public Record, the Beaverton Municipal Court, and the United States Federal District Court, Portland, Oregon, U.S. Navy veteran 515-9365, discharged the flesh, blood, soul, body, mind, spirit of man on Oregon, an Oregonian, a continuous traveler, a non-U.S. citizen born August 14, 1938, Reno, Nevada, with two ancestors, a father and a son, direct bloodline that fought for New York in our revolution. My mother's father, born Stockwell Gonzalez in 1876, New Mexico, mail, general delivery, Beaverton, Oregon, brackets 97005 503-641-8375, Ron Vroman 38 at gmail.com. With full faith and credit, governing laws established in this document at this time to be the Declaration of Independence, Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union, Oregon's apostrophe S original Constitution circa 1859, and the United States of America's apostrophe S Constitution circa 1859, and ORCP 20A, the Clearfield Doctrine, the Accardi Doctrine, Ex parte Young, Ex parte Milligan, McCarran-Walters Act, 1952, Judiciary Act, 1789, Section 32, Judgment Nihil Dicit, are all specifically called into this document. They are all governing law, which must be accepted. The current 13th and 14th Amendments are bogus and must be rejected. Take heed of the Blackstone commentaries. DOJ is agent to the entity responsible for the enumerated requirements of Article 3 and one Supreme Court with a small o, small s, capital C court that must claim original jurisdiction. To be a court I would consider to have jurisdiction when found in conjunction with Amendment 7 Court, the DOJ has failed miserably in their responsibility. We must do it ourselves. We define the words we use, and we decide our method of communications. Then this is the claim I sent yesterday with the attachment, and it's much larger type. And hello, Inspector General, USMC, FOIA, USMC, General Berger, Commander. He has I don't know whether it's retired or resigned, but he's no longer the commandant of the Marine Corps, and they don't have one. Sounds like that de facto swap to me. Commandant of the Marine Corps and Eric M. Smith, General, whose mail addresses are not available to me. The phone numbers for Quantico, Pendleton, and Miramar do not work. The only numbers working for the U.S. Marine Corps that I have used, more than 20, are IG. The persons at IG, Miramar, Washington, Pendleton, and the people answer but refuse to provide phone numbers for Brigadier General, no, it's Major General. Ah, Borscheltz, and the one for Eric M. Smith does not take messages. You call them up and they say, you got the right number and we don't take messages. Click. Something's not right with the Marine Corps. Make this a FOIA demand also. All that I have listed is more than enough to cause a reasonable man to file a claim with the IG. I make that claim. Second, I read a story on the internet that General Eric M. Smith, commander of the 3rd Air Wing, that was incorrect, ordered an aircraft strike on a FEMA vessel. I want to verify that. Is there any connection to truth in that story? There was also a story that the U.S. Marine Corps engaged in gunfire with FEMA on Maui. That needs to be verified. And the U.S. Marine Corps has no working phone numbers except for the IG. Third, I sent USPS return receipt requested. And that was to General Berger. And Williams got that, and I hope he can put it up. But it's done. Oh, lost my place. Okay. The attached document that William will put up for me, I hope. Something has been wrong with our constitutional Republican form of government for years. I made a commitment to myself in 2013. I refuse to acquiesce to any infringements on my unalienable rights. That has been extremely harsh in consequences. I have been arrested and jailed 6 times, tried on 3 counts. I got my gun back after a not guilty on a Class A misdemeanor in 2015, guilty in 2 years probation, guilty in 20 days in county jail and 18 months probation, 2017. The VA police arrested me because I would not wear a mask. That was in August 2021. Have you read the morbidity information subsequent to the data after the facts? If not, please do so. That is not rhetorical. How are the Marines going to provide for my peace, safety, and happiness after COVID vaccinations decimate our armed forces? I understand the Navy SEALs won their court case and are vax free. Is that true? FOIA. I identify myself for the record with my bio, and I read that a bunch of that earlier. And it concludes with additional notice 9/13/2023. Today, Cassandra and I established my emails do not go through to Cassandra, and I will email to Captain Matthew Healy. They are killing us, and the U.S. Marine Corps is supposed to provide protection from within, not block communications. No phone numbers are working at the Marine Corps. Okay, in addition to that, when I had her on the telephone, I got to explain why it is we selected the Marine Corps. And I'll give it to you here as you weren't privy to that conversation. Oregon and Delaware are unique in they do not have a military base fort camp on their state. That's 2 out of 50. That's pretty low. So there's no Army presence on Oregon. And we also know that the U.S. presence on Oregon that's signified by the Marco Hatfield Federal Building is bogus, and they cannot prove it. The building's titled to United States of America, which is not a lawful, legitimate name. It's a bogus fiction. It's probably owned by Fred in Nebraska. So it's a fiction. There's no land on Oregon that's federal. So to reach us, they have to come up the river, and it's navigable. So the Navy has access. And the Marine Corps is the land division of the Navy. Therefore, the Provost Marshal of the Marine Corps, and that name may be wrong, Bobby would know much better than me, but we both think it's the Provost Marshal that's in charge of the land of Oregon for the Navy and the Marine Corps. No post can go unfulfilled. They got to fill them all. So there is somebody that has that duty. And I demanded that today, and I don't think there's a rebuttal. And I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.